everybody chases great things. And you see this huge in the action sports. Everybody wants to crush it every day. And in CrossFit too, like they're chasing that like epic crushed workout every day. You know, the hardest thing to recover from is a great day. A great day is exhausting.
Hey, welcome back, fitness friends, to the Future of Fitness podcast and interview series. This is your host, Eric Malzone, and this is episode number 160. I get to talk to Deacon Andrews. So, Deacon, what a story. He is he's been in the industry for a long time. Been in training people for a long time, CrossFit. Now he's really finding his niche in action sport athletes and growing his business quite successfully there. His website is Sisu Strong, SISU strong.com. You can learn a little bit more about Deacon, but he's also hysterical and very authentic and honest. And I think a good chunk of this interview, first 20 to 25 minutes, was just talking about his journey through depression, anxiety, and all the things he's overcome to become successful. And I think that message resonates with a lot of people. It resonates with me for sure. And this is the type of episode where I get a lot of direct messages because people are like, yeah, I get it. I do get it. And so I hope you enjoy it. And there's a lot in here to talk about action sports, of course, as well. So what is action sports exactly? Who is he targeting and working with now, and the future that he has? He's working on a big project out there in Utah. So super cool stuff, man. Really excited for Deacon, what he's up to. And he really came in and offered a lot of value in this interview. So this interview is brought to you by CertifiedCourseCreation.com. Kate Jaramillo and I have been doing this for about a year now, and it's really picking up. We're putting out some amazing certifications, and we're looking for people to partner with, and maybe you're one. So if you're listening, you're thinking like, yeah, I got a good idea for a certification. Maybe it's action sports. I don't know, Deacon, if you're listening. How do you take a wealth of knowledge that you've accumulated over the years and expertise, and how do you start leveraging yourself? Well, the world of online education is ripe, and I would get in early, and we'd like to help you. So go to CertifiedCourseCreation.com, learn a little bit more. And if you'd like to book a call with me, I'm happy to. It's free. We can talk about your concept, see where it fits into the market, see how the opportunity is, and see if it's a good fit. So please do. Don't hesitate. Why? Why hesitate, right? Because it's going to take a little while to build it out. And if you start today, a year from now, you will not regret it. I promise you. So Level 5 Mentors is our other sponsor. So partnering with that as well. We got a couple of good mentors on the team. But if you are an entrepreneur who's feeling basically stuck, right, can't seem to get any traction, Ken and I can help. And it all starts with a call. So go to Level 5 Mentors. It's LEVEL, the number 5, mentors.com. And we'd love to chat with you and just see where you're at. But, there's a lot of different ways. I think when you look at what most entrepreneurs are looking at is, well, how much is my company worth? How much am I earning, right? Are those really the metrics that most entrepreneurs want or should be looking at? At a certain point, I'm going to say no, that's not why we get into it. We get in because we want freedom, right? We want to do what we want when we want. And that's what entrepreneurship is all about. And we want to make an impact. So how are we looking at that? Are we looking at the right metrics, right? Well, we make sure, first of all, that people are looking at the right things to gauge success, because it's got to be you. It's your definition of success that dictates what's going on. It's not some other one. It's not something on Instagram, right? It's you. And that's what we help people figure out. And I love it. I am loving it. So go check it out, LEVEL, number 5 mentors.com, and look forward to hearing from you. Without further ado, and me rambling, let's get on to episode number 160 with Deacon Andrews. And enjoy the ride. We're live. Deacon, welcome.
What's up?
Excited to have you, man. I love our conversations and I love what you do. I mean, you and I could probably talk about mountain life for 45 minutes, but I don't know how interested people would be.
All right, you guys want to work out? Well, first get some flannel and a beard.
Yes.
Because outside of that, your opinion doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. This episode is sponsored by Garmin Phoenix 5 and Cool Pants. KUHL. Yeah. They don't have to pay us for that.
My pants are cool. It's a good, my dude lives here, actually. He lives in Park City. And I didn't know it that I told him his pants sucked one time. Like they ripped really easy. And we were all at dinner and they're like, oh, that's the owner. I was like, oh, I need new pants.
Yeah. You need a new foot. Take out of your mouth.
I was just like, I like your pants.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Well, Deacon, it's a pleasure to get you on, and big thanks to Ken for introducing us. And I think he's like, you guys should just talk because you have too many things that you enjoy.
And I think he tried to do that like a year ago, but I just wasn't in a. Ken's just one of those guys who, for whatever reason, really invested in me in a time in my life it was just really dark, and nobody could have really helped me, but he kept trying, and I was just kind of in this place. But I remember a year ago, he's like, "Oh, when you guys started what is that group, that app called Slack?" Is it Slack?
Yeah, the Slack group.
You know, and he tried to get me to connect you, and I was like, "Man, I'm not going to waste anybody's time because I was like, I'm not consistent right now. I don't know where I am and what I'm doing." But yeah, so now it's been awesome to get to have a few conversations, and it's just, yeah.
Let's start with that, man. Give us your story, Deacon. Tell people who don't know who you are.
I am a 230-pound ginger with a red beard, and that's pretty much what most people know me as. But there is more to the good looks. You know, I'm a dad, first of all. Awesome. I have an amazing 5-year-old daughter, and no matter what that is, that's who I am, and that's who I want to be. And, I've had the opportunity to have a lot of amazing experiences from, growing up playing high-level tennis and college tennis, which is always surprising to people. But then from there, transferring into kind of a professional fighting career, then into military, and then medically retiring out of the military after a broken back and going full time into strength training. Which after that, it was kind of just this roller coaster of things, because what I didn't know was that I was struggling with a lot of depression, anxiety, like PTSD and things like that. That I was really good at masking, as long as I was helping a lot of people. And for about 4 years was like kind of solid, and, had a good gym. And then we moved to Utah, and, I kind of started to self-implode a little bit, and I didn't have a gym. I was predominantly coaching online. All of a sudden having a lot of free time with myself, and things really kind of, just kind of began to spiral, and I was just constantly like duct tape fixing things and chasing fixes and trying to piece it all together and just force things to happen. And I really got to the point to where, 18 months ago, I didn't know if I was going to make it to the next day, if I wanted to. If I didn't have a daughter, I really doubt I would be here, because I couldn't wrap my head around ever leaving this world and her wondering why, if it had anything, like why she wasn't enough. So that was kind of the thing that really kept me going at that point. I had completely stepped away from coaching, and that was kind of like right when Ken and I connected was really when things started to spiral and get really bad. And I walked away from a gym that I was a business partner of, and just kind of went into the basement for 6 months, literally. And just all I was trying to do was pull enough courage together to spend time with my daughter when I had her. And it was just kind of one of those crazy things. And, and Ken really was probably one of the most foundational people throughout that truly like wasn't letting me give up on myself. And it just, just slowly started to come out of that. And I started coaching again, and just kind of fell back in love with coaching. And first of all, I started to like myself, and had dealt with a lot of things. And I had been in a very toxic relationship after my divorce, which was a big piece of it. And, that kind of forced me to look at some things and to really just grow and learn. And so, yeah, I just slowly got back into coaching and realized that that's what I was supposed to do. And that's what I love doing. And now it's kind of come full circle, and I'm back to I love life. I'm a person that I take life very serious, but I don't take it very serious. And I love to joke. And, a lot of that is kind of a coping mechanism for me too sometimes. But the one thing I noticed, like when I was really struggling with depression and things like that, is I had no sense of humor. I couldn't even bring that about. And, I love to use humor and kind of silly skits or stupid videos. Like yesterday I made a mountain bike video about sponsoring and everything. And pretty much ended up with me just riding through the woods in my underwear because I don't really have any sponsors.
That's funny.
It's on Instagram and YouTube. You'll have to check it out. I'll send it. But then attaching really quality information and content behind it. And, action sports is my passion. And really it's guys like us, that kind of 35 plus crowd that we do things a little bit better than most. We're not these pro skiers or pro mountain bikers, but we hang and we get out there and we just want to be able to last and do that as long as possible. So that's kind of where I am now, and partnering with some guys to open a facility that will really cater to a lot of stuff like this. And I'm just having fun.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good to hear, man. I mean, it's, if you don't mind, talking about depression for a second, I think, it's something that certainly has touched me personally in my life. It's also touched many people in my family and a lot of people I know. And it's one of those things where you can't, Joe Rogan talks about it in my favorite podcast. He talks about it all the time. It's not something that you can, if you have a broken arm,
you can fix
obvious, you can fix it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, poor guy, he has a broken arm. What can I do for you? Can I bring you some dinner or drive you somewhere? But if you're depressed or mental illness or anything like that, you can't see it. Right. So people are like, well, get over it.
Right.
It's not that easy.
One of those things you don't understand, and the more that I've become really open about it, and I've really learned that way more people deal with it and to more extremes than you would even ever realize. But one of the reasons they don't like to hear someone talk about it is because they don't want to have to address their own.
Yeah.
They you don't talk about it because I don't want to talk about it either. Yeah. And that's kind of been, especially with men, that's been a big kind of passion for me, is being one to open that door. I'm not I'm 6'2", 230 pounds. I'm a big guy, and I consider myself a pretty kind of traditional manly guy. And, so I've tried to be very open, and having a daughter has totally changed that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm covered in glitter. So, and, but to be real vulnerable and honest about that, and to have real conversations with men, and, and be willing to, say, when people ask, everybody asks, how's it going? And it was, oh, good. But, my big goal is to challenge myself to just not pour it out, but just be, you know what? Today's kind of shitty, but it's all right. I'm here, and I think that's the biggest thing, is everybody feels like they got to put on this front, and it's just being okay, not being okay. No, don't have your shit together all the time. Don't tell yourself you have to have positive thoughts all the time, because then you're going to get pissed that you're not having positive thoughts.
Yeah.
We all have this big scary monster that lives in a room, and so often we ignore it. And every time we walk in, it scares the crap out of us. Versus just walking over to it and being like, I see you. You don't control me. I see you. Depression and anxiety, for me, what I've learned, is no different than someone that has a fear of heights. It may not seem rational. It doesn't, a fear of heights is rational. Like,
yeah,
like you should, like if you don't stand up somewhere and think second, but you know, like a paralyzing fear or something like that. There's a lot of times you can't understand that because you don't have it. But what's a great way to get over that is progress. Go stand on a 10-foot ledge. You know, stand there and learn to how to control that anxiety when it happens. The fear is not going to go away, but you can control it and you learn how to react better. And that's kind of what it comes down to is, you know, we're told to not have these things, and then it just gets to that we don't deal with it until it's exploded, you know. And same in the gym, you know, we don't deal with injuries until we have to, versus what if we dealt with them before they happen, and then,
right,
you know. So yeah, it's just kind of, it's, you know, if I can do anything for men, you know, women are great about it, I think, and it's still taboo, but for men, like, dude, just talk. Like every Thursday I have a group of guys that I get together with. And it's, you know, it's kind of just the unspoken rule is that if somebody's struggling, we're going to talk about it. Like they can talk about it. It doesn't mean we have to answer it. You know, the most powerful thing you can say to someone with depression or who's like on the verge of like suicide because it's just so painful they can't live. They don't want to die, but they're in pain. And it's just being willing to say like, dude, I understand that it's that bad and I'm really sorry. Not go for a walk, not it'll be okay. Because you know what? It doesn't feel like it's going to be okay. And it's very powerful to just kind of acknowledge to someone, be like, I'm sorry that it sucks that bad. Because it does. I've been there. and I didn't want to be there.
Right. No one wants to feel that way, you know? And that's, you know, some of the episodes where on this show where I've gotten, direct messages or emails sent to me, it's never been about like, what's the best business practice, right? It's never been any of that marketing tech. It's always been something where somebody got real honest about burnout, depression, anxiety. And people are like, yeah, I resonate with that. That's me. Right.
That's what people need to hear.
Yes.
Because like, think about what we see. What do we see all day long is all the wins. Like, now, granted, I don't think someone should go through and start an Instagram account about, man, every day is just shitty.
Right.
Like, you don't really want to see how you do. But it's, you know, it's like all we see is the highlight reel. I mean, and people talk about this all the time. So even though you know that's not the whole story, it is. You know, I got to talk to Robin Lyons from Mountain Lab Performance yesterday for like an hour, and you know, it's funny. Like one of the things that like resonated to me was we were just talking about like gyms and growing gyms, and it's like, you know, she's like, I've moved to Driggs, Idaho, in the middle of nowhere, and have this awesome program. And people are like, oh, you did that in like no time, and it's like, no. She did that over 18 years of becoming one of the most respected coaches in the industry. She just happened to be living in Driggs now, but she didn't move to Driggs and just randomly start building this thing. Like 18 years, you know, of struggle and grind, and you know, and you've seen this, and you know, you've been through it, and yeah, I just you know, it's funny. This morning, I don't usually train clients early first thing in the morning because that's time for me to get my shit together.
Yeah, sure.
So I come out and like do what I need to do and address those kind of demons that are there, that darkness piece that's there. Because I mean, it's still all there. All the things that I struggle with, there's some of the first things that pop in my head, but it's kind of like stepping into it. And but if I do train someone first thing, I'm making sure that it's someone that I know that they're authentic and that they're gonna, like, if they're having a crappy morning, we meet up at 5 a.m., they're gonna at least say it. You know, and that it's going to be kind of that like real authentic interaction, because at least I'm going to start my day with that. And I think that's just a piece that we are continually missing.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel when you wake up most mornings? Like, do you wake up thinking like today is a day full of opportunity? Do you wake up thinking like, oh shit, like something bad's going to happen today? Do you like, what's your default when you wake up? Because everybody has a certain thing. You can change that stuff over time, but whatever you default with now currently is what you have to deal with now.
Yeah. You know, for me, it kind of goes two ways. One, when I have my daughter and I wake up, I'm like, dude, I know what I'm doing. You know, it's just about getting her ready for the morning. And it's kind of like, I have my purpose.
Yeah.
Mornings that I don't have her, it typically kind of can be a little bit more of a depressed morning. Because I'm like, oh, like, well, what do I do? Like, you know, and I tend to have that, like, I can have that moment where like, well, you don't have to get out of bed right now, you know, and so it is more of a conscious choice to get up and to start going and kind of get a little bit more motivated. And I'm a morning person. Like I love mornings. You know, I wake up pretty naturally around like 4:30 and, you know, anybody like my ex-wife would be like, dude, mornings with him sucks. Cause he's like, you know, I am, and I wake up and I'm alert, but yeah, it's still that struggle of, am I doing what I should be doing? Am I, you know, and having to kind of talk myself into it. And it's just, you know, but it is funny because I bet anybody that knows me would be surprised to hear that, that I'm not just because like, hell yeah, let's go. And, cause that's kind of my mentality. And I've always been kind of the person in the group that provides motivation and it's like, yeah, let's do it. And another thing they probably don't know is because I want to beat them. But that's why I'm always excited to do stuff, is hoping that I beat some of them. They don't need, hopefully they're not listening to this either. They may be like, like, hey guys, let's go do this. I know I'm going to beat you. And I'm going to make sure none of my like close.
Yeah. Oh, this is going to get around for sure. Don't worry. This is going to backfire big time. It's going to be great.
And, but yeah, I mean, like I don't know. I hear all these influencers and, you know, motivational speakers and honestly, like when I was really struggling, like I had to put on like motivational speeches all the time just to get some type of pumped up thing, just to get moving. And I think that's valuable, but that's not something that's sustainable, and it shouldn't be like what you rely on, you know, but, it's just kind of finding that piece. But like you hear all these guys like, oh, just think positive thoughts. And I don't agree with that. I really don't. I think you need to be okay with the fact that it's not always positive. And that's the thing, is you don't let that crush you. But you know, you know, there's that admiral that gives the speech about make your bed first thing in the morning so you succeed. And there's a huge component to that. I truly believe that if you're struggling, like do it, because give yourself a win.
Yeah.
And too often we pick all these great, you know, everybody's like, I'm going to do this 90-day challenge that's going to change 17 things I do each day. I didn't make it past the first day. I'm a failure.
Yeah. Well, you know, a lot of people do, which, you know, maybe this alone would help a lot of people, is look at yourself as if you're coaching yourself, or if you're someone that you love, right? And treat yourself with that, you know, and people are like this, use that same compassion, use that same empathy. Like, you know, if I was talking to a client the way that I talk to myself in my head, right? My client would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Right? Like, why are you so hard on me? Right? And I think that's a big thing a lot of people face too, is like, well, be a little compassionate with yourself. Let yourself have some failure, right? Because that's part of it. And I think I agree. Like, if I'm working with anybody on the nutrition or health side, which it's been a long time since I have, I'm like, well, we're going to focus on one habit for the next 30 days. The one most important habit, whether it's sleeping 8 hours or drinking enough water, or, you know, just being aware of what you're putting in your face, right? Whatever it is, let's just focus on one thing. And that one thing, like Max Shank was on the podcast a couple times. We're huge fans, and Andy Petronic, huge fans of like, what can you do in 5 minutes a day if you did it every day? Crazy things,
right?
You can accomplish crazy things, right?
Well,
you just did 5 minutes a day.
And it's, you know, that's the ticket is, it falls back to everything we see with fitness and health and consistency.
Yeah.
You know, everybody chases great things. And you see this huge in the action sports world, is everybody wants to crush it every day. And in CrossFit too, like they're chasing that like epic crushed workout every day. You know, the hardest thing to recover from is a great day? A great day is exhausting. Like, let me tell you what my great day would be.
Yeah.
Wake up at 4:00 in the morning to like 3 feet of fresh pound. Hike out someone, 2 hours hike, even more, whatever. Get some fresh turns in, come home, hang out with my daughter, play all day, take her skiing now, go to the gym, work out, have a couple glasses of whiskey at the end of the day, and that's going to crush me, but that'd be a great day.
Yeah.
But I couldn't do it over and over, and I think there's just such a misconception of what we want versus what we need, and just being okay with being like having a good day.
Yeah.
Or having a shitty day.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like I said, like my biggest thing that I've tried to promise myself is that even with clients, like I'm there to help them and I'm going to perform, but a piece of that allowing me to do it is if they ask me how I am, it's be like, man, you know what? I've been a little off today. And that gives me the freedom to be like, okay, I'm off. But then it actually does allow me to coach better.
Sure.
I'm not trying to trick them.
Right.
And they are also going to be more likely to be more upfront and honest with me when they're having that as well.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's a key point. Because then, people know too, like if you're trying to be the same guy every day, well, not the same guy, the same upbeat persona every day, you're not going to last long because it's exhausting. Right. And they know, clients know, they just know. Right.
It's like they're not dumb. They're just like you. You can tell when they come in, they're like, oh, I feel great. And I'm like, dude, it's like, we're off. Let's just go for a walk.
Right. Yeah. Deacon, let's, before we get into this, define action sports for me, for people listening.
It used to be kind of X Games, what people would think of that, or it used to be the things that would get you kicked out of like the library parking lot, get you kicked off of school campuses or whatever. Skateboarding is the kind of the traditional thing that you think of. But for what I do it's mountain biking, BMX racing, skiing, snowboarding, snowmobiling, motocross, desert racing, motocross. Basically, anything that has a traditionally higher rate of maiming yourself more so than like the traditional sports. I feel like that's how my mom would describe it.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not a bad description.
Action sports is just kind of I don't really know what that means. Like when I say that, actually, it used to be extreme sports.
Yeah, it used to be extreme. Now it's action. Now you hear like there's also motorsports, which are like a part of action sports.
Yeah.
So it's,
I say mountain athletes a lot is who I work with a lot now because it's mountain biking, skiing, snowboarding. And then I work with a lot of desert racers, like guys that do like the long desert racing motocross stuff. But yeah, like X Games, it used to be stuff that wasn't in the Olympics, but that's changing. Now I love skateboarding. And, so yeah, it's just kind of more of the non-traditional team sports. And I think that's a unique aspect of action sports is that it is all individual based, but you have to have a solid team around you to really do well. Which is stuff that I've always liked, which is why I love like MMA and jiu-jitsu and action sports and like wakeboarding and snowboarding and skiing and all that stuff because you had to have people around you to help. But you're the only one that it comes down to. Yeah. There was no Tommy missed the pass and didn't score a point. And it's like, oh no, Deacon lost.
Well, the whole thing is growing rapidly, right? In action sports, Red Bull probably has a lot to play.
Yeah, Red Bull has done so many amazing things for athletes and for just pushing barriers. I would say, it's not fair to say for athletes because there's like a handful of them that get the perks of Red Bull, but Red Bull they're just on the forefront of where can we take this? And here we have Woodward Park City that just opened up in Park City is their new headquarters. and they started out as a cheerleading camp basically 30 years ago, and now they're like the action sports mecca of the world. And like they have built this amazing facility. I got to do a walkthrough with Maddox, my daughter, a few weeks ago, and it's insane. I walk through and I'm like, dude, there's so many ways I can hurt myself in here, but it's safer ways. Like, but I'm like, it's like they have a ramp that goes into a foam pit, a ramp that goes into an airbag, a ramp that goes into a resin ramp, and then you take it out to dirt. I just hope I have the patience to go through all those 3 first ones before I go try it out and like outside.
Right.
But
cool.
It's crazy where this stuff is going, which has kind of been the thing now. Like, again, like a lot of guys like me that are, I'm 30, I just turned 38, and, I still think I'm 20.
Me too.
And my body's just like, no, so it's just about learning how to, one, be smarter about it, but to build a body that's resilient. And that's kind of the whole thing about what we do here, and how I coach and train is more so working with guys, like I said, guys like us that want to play. I love getting to work with these amazing athletes, and I get to train some of the most amazing athletes and the top guys in the world from skiing and mountain biking girls. But that's not the core of what I do. It's people like us, that we just still want to play in the mountains. And I think that's another big component of why it's growing so fast is I call it the City Slickers effect. You remember the old movie City Slickers?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Most people probably don't. But because everybody's like 20 now and I'm not. Do you feel like that? Like that it's just like there's us and then there's 20-year-olds.
Yeah, there's not much in the like.
There's no in between. I'm like,
yeah, I do. And City Slickers was amazing, and sometimes I feel like a city slicker up here in Montana. Like,
but that's and that's it is. I think that's kind of action sports is that thing. It allows people to get out and experience something different that challenges them. And the thing that I love about mountain sports and skiing and snowboarding and all this stuff is it doesn't matter if it's your first time or if you are a guy like Tanner Hall, who is one of the top in the biz chasing this crazy level of skiing. The high and the feeling is the same. Because it's the level that you're on is what you're experiencing, and so it's getting that. There's something, no matter what, healing about being out in the mountains and in that, which again was a huge component to me, even more so now being so passionate about building what I am here is because of the depression and being like. If it hadn't been, like if I'd been in a city somewhere, my outlet would have been to drink. My outlet would have been like probably finding drugs or something like that. My outlet here was to get out on my bike, to get out and hike, to be out in that. And there's no doubt about it. Like you cannot be out in these mountains and constantly hold the stress and anxiety and depression and the things that are making that happen. It's impossible to hold on to them while you're taking in that experience. It's just soothing. And it may just be for a moment, but that's a lot. Sometimes that's all it takes to let someone see like, okay, this can get better. Because like a brief moment then can become 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it just starts to expand. And, and that's kind of how I am, it's, now I'm very efficient at like seeing like when those things are coming on and addressing them. But it's like, the days are so many good days are strung together. Whereas before it was just fighting for minutes. And I think that's a big piece of why it is. It allows people to push themselves in a way that they've never experienced in their normal daily lives. And it could just be getting onto skis for the first time or riding up a chairlift for the first time. but it changes them and gives them an experience the same as the guy who's getting dropped out of a helicopter and dropping down chutes in Alaska. It's the same thing. It's the same healing component of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's I redevoted myself to an outdoor life when I left California, really. So I guess that was like 2.5 years ago. And, now going on my third ski season where I expect at least 50 to 60 days on the mountain, it's changed my life. Like I can't think of anything else. Like I can't, it's a unique thing. And having done a lot of things that necessitate flow, right?
Yeah.
Team sports, CrossFit, endurance, like a lot of things that people would say are flow. There's just not anything that gets you quite immersed in the moment as being that combination of sport and outdoors, right? You're just so aware and you're in such a natural state. And you're right, because I've been in rooms like, I took my Avalanche 1 course and in the room, the instructors, and there's pro skiers, people who are on films or instructing the class. But we're all talking about the same feelings. Like, not feelings like emotional feelings, but what they would call, probably made fun of the stoke, right? Like, and everyone's like, oh yeah, I know that feeling for sure. Like you gotta be careful when the stoke is high. You gotta be careful. That's when you gotta be like, oh yeah, I know the stoke. Yeah, right.
You gotta watch the video that I made yesterday. You'll die.
Well, what I really admire too about what you're doing, Deacon, is you seem to be merging. Like you were telling me on the first time we chatted that, if it's 4 inches, 6 inches of powder and your client comes into the gym, or you're going to text them that morning and be like, we're not going to the gym.
Yeah, that's a part of the contract. We talk about it up front because again,
awesome.
I love CrossFit. And if that's your jam, that's your thing, do CrossFit all day long. If that's your recreation, that's the thing. But my business is for people that do not want to be in the gym, but understand that they want to perform optimally, whether it's a guy like me recreationally or an elite level athlete, that the gym is a component of that to allow that to happen when we want to do it. And so, yeah, that's a piece of it. It's like, man, like, look, and I don't train anybody that I don't want to go ski or ride bikes with. It's just kind of a thing that I've really learned that if we're not going to hang out, and if it's not epic conditions, and like training's very important, and typically like we did it last week, like with one of my clients who's just kind of a perfect thing. He's like, let's go run. We went and ran Snowbird, and we adjusted the training for recovery stuff later that afternoon. But our session was we went and ran, and that's just what it's about. Because again, that's what I'm trying to help these people do. And then also on the flip side is, when I get to see them in the environment doing the things that they love, that's where I really get to see what they are doing and what is breaking down in their body when they get tired, and what we need the most in the gym. We can do all the screening all day long in the gym. There is some amazing screening, great tests, but it doesn't necessarily reflect what the compensation patterns are for someone who participates in mountain sports, especially someone who is very good at it, who has figured out how to be very good at what they do with really crappy mobility or movement patterns. And it's mind boggling. Like I have a client that, like, I mean, if you look at him now, like if you looked at him walk in the gym, you would be like, this dude is broke. But it's night and day from where he was 6 months ago. And he's just that beat up from averaging probably 200 to 300 miles a week of skinning and backcountry skiing. That's just what he does. But he can kick my butt out there. No doubt. And that's who I went running with. And, he's just an animal, because he's gotten so good at what he does. So it allows me to do my job better. And again, there's just something better. Like being in the gym, I love the gym. I am kind of a meathead. I do like to lift. And, yeah, that's the component of it, is we're all here in and the facility that we're putting together because we want to play outside as much as possible.
Yeah.
And, like I ask the question and I'm like, all right, if it's a good snow day, we're supposed to train, like, what would you rather do? And like, I'm like, don't bullshit me. Like, don't tell me what you think I want to hear, because it's probably not the right answer. And, but now everybody knows. I think now, like, once I kind of got out of the bag, everybody's like, I'm going to go train with Deacon because he's going to actually make me go ride my bike more if it's a nice day.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing. And maybe it's my own bias or the things that I see. Right. But people like you or Dr. Sean Pastuch or, Dr. Eric Goodman, Ryan Whitehead, like everybody's like,
those guys are
now
really
starting to
smart,
see
though.
what's that?
Those guys are just like super smart. I rely on my looks and hand model.
Yeah, right. But the goal is the same as like you're working with people who just want to live a higher quality of life. I mean, there's so much in the fitness industry about 6-pack abs and X% body fat. And we all know, if you've been in the industry for a while, sure, maybe you can help someone get that, but it's such a fleeting goal and it's so empty at the end of the day.
It's a photo shoot. Dude, I found the right lighting. Again, you'll see it in my video. I found the right lighting yesterday. I didn't have to flex or anything. It made my abs look so good out on the mountain.
Right.
Just the right filter and the right lighting. I had abs. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just a game that, like, I don't think if you play that game as a fitness professional, you'll probably get a lot of clients up front, but you may completely lose the passion that brought you into the industry.
Yeah. Well, it's not fair to say that they're just churning out robots. That's like the thing that comes to mind is it's very robotic, and it's like, yeah, of course that, and I tell everybody that I work with, I'm like, what are your goals? And it's like, oh, I want to ski better. Okay, cool. And we the way that I kind of fashion it is, one, move better, feel better, perform better, then you look good naked. Like that. If that's not a part of it, you're full of crap. You're a liar. But like, are we chasing like 12 abs, whatever? Like, no, like, but yeah, we want to look good and feel good. But I approach it from the other end. If you do all the things right that allow you to feel good and enjoy your life the most, one, you're going to probably have a better relationship with body image. And I understand that women struggle with that a lot, but dudes, you guys, I see us, like, oh God. And I do. I care. And I also just found out that dad bod wasn't a positive thing. I used to hashtag that, and people were like, dude, you're an idiot. That's not a good thing. I was like, oh. I thought it was like dads that
winning
fitness, and like, oh, I'm a dad and I work out hard and get it all. They're like, no, it's the exact opposite. It's like, oh, I'll take those hashtags off.
Yeah. It's a funny thing. Like, did you ever read comic books growing up?
Yeah.
So I was a chubby kid, and I would read all these comic books, and I called it superhero syndrome, because like all I wanted to do was look like a superhero, right? And it probably really effed with me for most of my life. Like, I just had this, because women can easily talk about what they see on a magazine cover or Instagram models, but guys, like, we just don't talk about it. Like, we got stuff in our head, and these unrealistic, like, I want to look like Superman, right? I want to look like the guy whoever played, Aquaman. What's his name? Yeah,
Jason Momoa.
Yeah, like, we all want to look like that. There's no difference there. We just shut up about it. We eat it and swallow it, right? And then just like comes out some other way in our life.
Right. What'd you say?
Yeah. It's interesting. So tell us, man, you got some really cool things in the work, and I feel like it's happening pretty quickly for you too, about what's happening there in Utah. I mean, last time we talked, in between, which was, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, and then today, big things already moving forward quickly.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things we've said, yeah, we're gonna do this, and I've had the awesome opportunity to kind of build the facility of my dreams, and in conjunction with some awesome organizations and some awesome people, and kind of head it up for them, and with truly no holds barred and no input. Like they're like, hey, like, and it was all guys that I trained, and then just cool opportunities. It's like, all right, let's build this. And it's, so now we're just kind of piecing it together, and it's not something that, again, it's happening it has happened fast, but it's been on the table for a long time. And it's not like, it's weird. I don't feel like this rush to do it. It's like, I know where we're going, and it's like, all right, yeah, we'll get there and we'll do it. And it's just, sometimes I'm like, man, am I passionate about this, or am I just really like calm and like confident? And I think that's it. I think a lot of times we do stuff kind of out of a knee-jerk reaction. We got to do it now, and versus doing things well. Again, like, fitness or whatever. I've got 16 hours to have the body of my dreams. I'm like, okay. And it's, so yeah, sometime in the next like 2 to 6 months, like we'll have a facility open that is going to be built around semi-private custom training for teams of people, for corporate teams in this, because we live here in this place where we have all these amazing like ski companies, Skull Candy, Jaybird, like all these like action sports influenced companies. And so it's going to build around like programs for these teams of people, and addressing that. And just a big piece of it is building awareness to what action sports, what you can benefit from, and just creating some education components to that. Because again, the biggest piece that we see in the fitness industry in general and training is people just want to get crushed because it feels good. So I train a clientele that crushes themselves on their bikes, on their skis, boards, snowmobiles, and just kills it. Like the mental capacity of mountain athletes and ultra endurance athletes, it's mind blowing. So my job is to make sure they're recovered. Whether they are professional or recreational, it is helping them recover. So the gym shouldn't feel anything like what they feel like when they're doing their sport, when they're doing their activity. And it's a horrible business model. You know what I'm saying? Like, because and this is where I think a lot of gym coaches fail, is they don't do a good job of meeting the client where they are and helping educate them to kind of adjust their need or their want. And they get scared of losing them, so they just crush it. And you can't sustain that. Again, like when someone comes in with that, it's why you see like a big thing in CrossFit or group fitness is like the 3-month cycle. And it's just not sustainable. And it's for us, it's just being very selective about building long-term clientele that I want to enjoy Park City with, and that we're just building a family. And that's, I have to make a living, and that is a component of it, but it's building sustainable, long-lasting relationships. This is one of the things that I got. It was so cool to talk to Robin Lyons. Like, do you know Robin? Have you ever met her?
Yeah, Robin and I met back in the day at
you were involved with. Okay.
Yeah, that's where I met her first.
And gosh, she's amazing. Like, and just then what she has and her passion for it and her no bullshit attitude is, I was just like, yeah, like, you're badass. And we were just talking about that it's about creating a culture that breeds year-long coaching relationships, and and for years to come. And that's just where it is. And you see like some of the best trainers in the world, you hear it from like Ben Bruno and Joe DeFranco and all these guys. They're like, oh yeah, I've trained these guys for 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things, like Luca Hosovar, like all those dudes. You'll hear like what one theme that is consistent throughout all of them is that they have clients that have been with them for 5 to 10 years. That's unreal, you know. And I have a couple.
That is.
I think we try to fit people into what we want, and then we get frustrated. And instead of educating them and meeting them in the middle, it just breaks down and people get hurt. I think that's a big component of it is people go through stuff and get hurt. And then I think another big piece is insecurity in coaches who are scared of losing clients. So instead of being like, man, you know what? You really need to spend like a month training with Eric because it's going to really benefit you. That person's going to come back.
Yeah.
You know, but so many clients, so many trainers and coaches are insecure in that because again, you got to make a living, and it's like, and that's a big thing. But I think the most successful coaches and the guys that I look up to are the ones that are also willing to say, I don't know. but I know someone that does.
Yeah.
And let you talk to my buddy over here, you know, and that's like one of my favorite things in the world. It's just one, it shocks the hell out of me. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, no, I want you to go see, like here, I got a guy named Ben who is just phenomenal at what he does with joint stuff. And can I do it? Yeah. Can he do it better? Yeah.
Yeah.
So do I want my clients to have the best? Hell yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I know I'm still better looking than them, so they're going to come back.
And ultimately, that's what it's all about. Well, I think you're starting to see, you know, relative ease in what you're doing because you're aligned, right?
Yeah.
And it takes a long time for people to understand their values. And that sounds like a ethereal thing, but it really does take a long time for someone to really understand. Sometimes it takes a lot of struggle.
Well, and a lot of times we want other people to tell us. And that was the biggest fail. When I went into this last partnership that I walked away from right when I was meeting Ken, I went into the partnership with where I knew everything that I know now, I knew that that's what I wanted. But I wanted them to be happy too. And it should have been one of those things where it's like, okay, look, we just aren't aligned in our vision for this, and that's okay. And unfortunately, it got too far in, and then just didn't have a great ending. And I take a lot of blame for that because I shouldn't have done it to begin with. But I was looking at it more honestly as I need to figure out how to make a living and survive. And I thought it was a good opportunity, but it wasn't because it wasn't where I was supposed to be.
Yeah.
So, you know, we get caught up in like, what is, you know, and, you know, honestly, I even kind of did it with you a few weeks ago. You know, we're talking about stuff. I was like, what do you think I should do? And, you know, and I feel like people should ask that question more, already knowing the answer, but listening to feedback and taking from it what they need. But that's something that I want to start doing more of, is asking the question when I kind of already know, but not looking for someone else to tell me what I should do. So if I don't know, then it's not right for me at that time anyway. And, you know, and you were awesome because you kind of guided me to where I needed, you know, just, you kind of asked a lot of questions, and it was kind of like, yeah, all right, that's where it was. But, you know, I found myself even again there kind of like, oh, well, if Eric thinks it's a good idea, then yeah, it's a good idea.
It's a lot of pressure on Eric.
So then if it doesn't work, I can come back and be like, hey,
yeah, Eric, I can just go back and defame him.
This did not work at all.
Yeah.
Deacon, well, I mean, I sat at home.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to work.
Yeah. Well, I've talked a lot of people out of opening gyms. I can tell you that much. You know, and because, as you know, everyone thinks like, well, it's the next logical step. I'm a fitness professional and I love training people, so I'm going to open a gym. Oh no, that's a whole different.
Yeah, dude. It's like you're
not going to be training people anymore.
Yeah. And that was the big thing that I told you. And that was kind of the silver lining for me, was that I told the guys that approached me with this, is that I had no desire to run a business.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm a coach. I'm a very ADD coach. so, or I guess ADHD. I think it's more ADHD. But, so it's like, no, I'm not going to run a business. And they're like, yeah, we got it.
That's awesome. That's a dream. A lot of people listening would be like, I want that. I want whatever you just got.
No, I'm not even going to pretend like, dude, I have the best like people around me ever. It's just like I'm the luckiest dude in the world between the clients and like people that I have that are just like, no, like this is where we're going and we know where you want to be. And I feel like the coolest guy in the world because I have like the coolest, like most awesome friends and family, and people are just super rad. I'm like, which is funny because I do have a couple like really like I didn't know how famous they were. Some retired NFL guys, and everywhere we go, like people are like, oh, will you take our picture? And so I'll give the phone to him and act like I'm setting up for the picture. they're like, no, like, will you take it? And I'm like, it's my favorite thing to do. It never fails. Every time they're like, and everybody tries to be so nice about it too.
Yeah, it's fun. I remember I was in an airport.
Why do you want his picture? What have you done?
Yeah, I was in an airport lounge and Russell Wilson and his wife walked in. And they went into like the kids' room because they had their kid and they were kind of in there. And I was like, oh, it's Russell Wilson. It's Russell Wilson. And his wife is even more famous. Like I can't remember her name, but she's definitely
clearly
up there
not.
as well.
I don't know the wife.
And I was like walking out. I'm like, oh, it's hysterical. And I like wrote, I signed a piece of paper and I walked in. I'm like, here you go, man.
Did you give him your autograph?
Yeah.
Dude, I love doing
like. What? And I didn't even care about his reaction. I just laughed my whole way to the next, to the gate and got on the plane. But that was really funny for me, dude. Deacon, where do you direct people to find you? Do you go mostly on Instagram? Obviously, your Instagram stuff's good.
I really kind of encourage them not to because I put a lot of stupid shit out there. But I'm one of those people that you look through and you're like, I just wasted 5 minutes. Like you're gonna watch this video that I just posted. Oh, yeah. I just wasted 5 minutes, but I do put some good stuff out too. I don't even know what my Instagram is. I really don't.
That's funny. I don't know if I know mine either. Actually, I'm not very good.
It's Deacon Andrews 7433.
7433
spells ride.
Awesome, yeah. Man. Well, dude, I'm really excited for you. What you got going and I think you're one of those people who you're like an overnight success over 20 years, just like you're talking about. You know what I mean? Like you've been through the grind.
We should do a fail podcast sometime.
Yeah, right?
Just bring people on, like, here's all the things that didn't work.
Yeah. How many hours? Yeah, how many hours do you want to go off on that? Because I got a list of like 3 things in the last month. But yeah, man, Deacon, thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for the authenticity and the honesty that you brought to it, and it's awesome, everything about it. So yeah, I appreciate your time. It's been great.
Appreciate you, man. Just again, thanks for your willingness to answer my questions and laugh at my jokes. That's basically I pick my friends about who will laugh at my jokes. So
you got me. Yeah.
I got to send him $20 again. No, I mean, I really appreciate it. And just thanks for what you're doing for the industry and for us that are trying to make it and kind of leading from the front. You and Ken have been a huge part of that for me, and I really appreciate that.
Awesome, man. Yeah, you're very welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, Deacon Andrews.
See ya.
Hey, fitness fans, don't leave yet. It's your host, Eric Malzone, and I have a quick favor to ask. Actually, 3 favors. So, number 1, if you're a fan of our show, I ask you to do something that takes under 3 minutes. Go to iTunes, please, and subscribe to our show. Please, please, please. It means so much to us. It's so important. And then give us a favorable review. We would really, really appreciate it. And I can't tell you how much it means and helps us out. So I know it takes 2 minutes of your day, and it means a lot to us. So please do that. Number 2, go to our YouTube channel, our Fitness Marketing Alliance, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel there. Number 3, if you like this episode or any of the episodes that we've released, share it on social. That's huge. That's a big deal for us. And we put a lot of work into these episodes, trying to give you great, actionable content for the fitness industry. So that would mean a lot. And that's it. So we have some big plans coming up for this show. I'll be talking about that in the next couple episodes. But thank you so much for listening. It means so much. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I love to hear from everybody. Eric, ERIC, at fitnessmarketingalliance.com.